Alright, we are back live. Thank you very much for tuning back in. I'm not sure what happened there, to be honest. I didn't get a message saying that my connection was down or anything. I think Matteo leaving might have just cost me a little bit. But we are back live, so welcome back to Clio Cup. Practice has just ended, so good timing there. And on top, Randalux 22.9, Bessar 23.3, Steve Boldham 23.4. Same lap time for Duke Martin in 4th, Jukebox Hero was in 5th, Snake is 6th, King Quinn 7th, Manic in 8th, GGDM in 9th, K-Morse down in 10th, didn't set a lap. We have also had Matteo in the lobby as well. So Randalux, Bessar, Steve Boldham, the three main protagonists, I think, in this picture tonight should have a good qualifying. And Duke Martin, by the way, 35.8 was his final sector, so just watch out for him in the final sector, quicker than some of the guys ahead of him. So just watch out for Duke Martin. I think could be an interesting one to watch. But we should be getting straight into qualifying now. 5 minutes of qualifying now unfolding. It is a very quick qualifying session to have. And of course, I need to be prepared for this. There are drivers now approaching out on track. It is a very long pit lane here at Sonoma, so it is going to take up quite a bit of time for some of these guys. Very long pit lane indeed, but they have reached the end of the pit lane now. The likes of Bessar, they've actually gone through the final king, so they're not even at the pits. But somebody that is at the pits is Duke Martin. So that's the guy I was just on board with. Duke Martin, the one to watch, I think, in qualifying here, is going to set us our first lap out on track here tonight for Gavra Racing Clio Cup Round 10, final round, season finale, and hopefully you guys are getting ready with the action that is about to unfold out on track. Right, there we go. We are back. Just checking in to make sure that we were live there. And Duke Martin will set us our first lap. K-Morse is concerned possibly that he's not here. He wants to start from the back and doesn't want to qualify for circumstances. Possibly. But there is a driver coming out of the pits. There are a few invalidations, I think, coming up. Manic has just come back into the pits. But Duke starting a lap here at Sonoma Raceway short. And now running up through turns 1 and 2. Uphill rise, going about 90 mile an hour through turn 1, dropping down at 65 mile an hour on exit of turn 2, now running down towards turn 3 and 4, similar what I think to Maggots and Beckett at Silverstone. Again, another uphill rise. Duke Martin can kick out that back end. We have seen drivers go wide there and invalidate their times, but nothing of the sort from Duke Martin. He's through sector 1 and goes through turn 5 very nicely through the right-hander. Another right-hander coming up for turn 6, and Duke Martin, and the lucky number 4 car, Australian, comes through nicely through turn 6 and 7. Now through turns 8, 9 and 10, which is the S section here, through turn 8, through turn 9, now through the right-hander at turn 10. Then a sweeping left-hander for turn 11, before coming through into turn 12. And turn 13 and 14 is the double hairpin. At the top, of course, there are many layouts to this track. They don't want to be getting confused with some of the layouts out on track. Already 2 minutes to go in qualifying, so these guys have really got to get their laps in. There's only going to be opportunity, I think, for 2 laps here. So Duke Martin better come across the line. What is he going to set? We'll find out shortly. Duke Martin coming across the line. And it's a 23.7 to begin off with. Similar sort of pace to what we set. Randalux is behind him out on track, or one of the drivers that's behind him out on track. He has got slipstream. I think that might be from Bessar in front, so Bessar's good back to come across the line. He does and goes first, but Randalux knocks him off. 22.5, quicker than his free practice time. Brilliant that by Randalux, and again Bessar's gone quicker than his free practice time. Duke Martin still third, Jukebox Hero 4th, very close from there. King Quinn, GGDM, Snake, Manic and Steve Boldham. Watch out for Steve on this lap. We'll go on board with him with 1 minute and 10 seconds to go in qualifying, just dropping under that mark now. Randalux out on top, 22.5. Bessar second with a 23 flat, as we see a spinner, and I think that might have been King Quinn. That might have been King Quinn. It was King Quinn. Randalux was ahead of him out on track. So, back on board with Steve Bodum then. So, dramatic turn of events there for King Quinn. Don't think he's going to be improving his position there. So, all he can hope for, I think, is a best of 5th place out on track. And I think we might have had another slight spinner in the background now. It's just somebody going still there. But Steve Bodum on for a theoretical 3rd place here. He's 17.2 seconds ahead of his personal best. He's going to be jumping in around 9/10 off Randalux at this stage. Let's watch on board because qualifying is about to end. There are drivers. Oh my god! What on earth has happened there? I cannot describe what I've just witnessed because I didn't see it. But Steve Bodum through the final corner. That was Manic, and that was Randalux having Jukebox Hero and Randalux, I think that was, having contact. So Steve Bodum across the line. Where does he go? He goes 3rd, and he's improved actually that final sector. 17.5 seconds improvement. 23.2, very competitive lap. And again, it's just Randalux, Bessar, Steve Bodum at the top. Honestly, not sure what happened there with Randalux and Jukebox Hero. Just saw a car upside down and coming up the right way, which was Randalux. Oh, and Steve Bodum nearly loses it on the apex of the corner there. Let's go on board with somebody that hasn't completed their lap. Manic is still on a lap, it seems. And GDDM, in fact, is just ahead of him. The GDDM out on track. We've got him, King Quinn, Manic, Steve Bodum, and Bessar awaiting possible improvements here. I think Manic has already completed his thingy. Oh, in fact, no, he's behind him. It's somebody that's completed their laps. But 4 drivers now to come across the line. 50 seconds left in qualifying to be completed. But GDDM now round the final corner. King Quinn not improving. And that was the driver that was off track. So King Quinn not improving. GDDM, is he going to improve? 1.6 seconds off Randalux at this stage. 24.2. He comes across the line now. GDDM, he does, and he goes 4th. Good lap. Manic in behind. Can he improve ahead of him? Goes across the line. No improvement there from Manic. Steve Bodum up to the line last. Bessar improves to within 1/10 of a second of Randalux. That is qualifying over. Randalux on top. And look how close separating Randalux. Bessar, Steve Bodum 3rd, GDDM in 4th, Duke Martin, Jukebox Hero, Manic, King Quinn, Snake, K-Morse, top 10. We have lost Mateo due to connection issues as well. So now, fasten the seatbelts, because we are about to go in for a crazy train ride of 24 laps here at Sonoma Raceway Short, the finale of the Clio Cup of 2019. And very excited to bring you the action, of course. And if hopefully people have found us, that we are back on part 2 of this stream. Thank you to the one person that is currently watching. Get the stream link out. Get the stream link out. But yes, we have got 10 drivers out on track. K-Morse didn't set a time in qualifying, so it'll be interesting to see how he gets on for 24 laps. As the syncing process begins, I'll be back with you in just a second. For Randalux on pole here, Bessar, Steve Bodum. Put your comments in the comment section, of course, if you do want to predict who's going to win this race. Predict your top 3 and predict your driver to watch in this race. And for my top 3, I will go pretty much similar to what we're seeing, to be honest. I think Bessar's going to have it over Randalux. He's been like that for the last few races of the season, so I think Bessar's going to edge Randalux here. Steve Bodum will finish in 3rd. One to watch out for, K-Morse for sure, one to watch out for. I'd like to see how Snaker gets on, because he has been part of the GT3 Championship, currently 11th in the Championship, as Cadwell said. But Snaker and K-Morse, ones to watch from 9th and 10th, are on the 5th row of the grid. We are about to get going any second now for the action here in Sonoma Short. And very excited to bring you the action, of course. This is the final race of the Clio Cup, so get supporting the guys out on track. We want to hear plenty of reactions, of course, from the drivers and from the comment section here tonight. And to those of you who might treat, because we are about to go into... we are back. Green. 3 red lights are on. Randalux gets us underway. Terrible camera angle to start off with, but Randalux leads the line off the grid. Everyone has got off the grid nicely. Randalux and Bessar. Steve Boldham, in fact, has jumped Bessar off the line. There's going to be a bit of contact in behind, possibly Mannix getting very close to K-Morse, I think it was. But up through turns 1 and 2 for the first time, all clean, and Randalux leads with, I think, that's about a 2 or 3 tenth lead at this stage. Steve Boldham has jumped Bessar off the line, and Bessar catching that back end out slightly. Anyone running wide through there? Not quite. There is a bit of a close action there between Kingquin and K-Morse. Snake are losing ground. K-Morse dives it up the inside of Kingquin. That's for 8th place and gets the move done. Kingquin saw it coming, and K-Morse is up to 8th there. So already position gain, 2 positions gained for K-Morse off the line and trying to make up a 3rd on the back of Manic. As we see, Steve Boldham attacking Randalux for the lead, and he's got the move done. So he's through into the lead of the race. Randalux must have run wide there for Steve Boldham to capitalise on that mistake. Steve Boldham now 5 tenths ahead and is really putting it to Randalux early on. Lap 1 out of 24, of course. They come through the end of sector 2. They are already through the end of sector 2. And Steve Boldham leads 7 tenths of a second. Slight race moment there from Randalux. Now into the braking zone. One of the trickiest braking zones on track. Bessar just dropping down the field slightly. Maybe letting drivers through and trying to win this race from the back like he tried to do last week in Willow Spring. He's right on the back of GDDM though. They're going to come side by side down the straight. Steve Boldham leads at the end of lap 1. Randalux in second. Bessar's got the inside line now into turn 1. Up into 3rd he goes, and Bessar is there. He's up to 3rd. GDDM in 4th. Jukebox Hero in 5th, trying to go around the outside of GDDM. He could see it, he just loses the traction of the car. K-Morse has made remarkable progress through the field early on. He's definitely one of the ones to watch, and he's up around the outside of Jukebox Hero for 5th place now on the inside line. Gets that move done, and K-Morse looking very feisty early on, and it's good driving from every single driver out on track. As we see Bessar just getting clipped up on the curb there. That was for 2nd. So Bessar has lost a lot of ground, in fact. GDDM hanging down the inside. K-Morse is now up to 3rd. This is going to get quite close here. It's going to be squeezed up. Everyone's going to give each other room. GDDM doing exactly that as they run pretty much 2 by 2 by 1 through the S section there at the end of sector 2 on lap 2. Steve Boldham leads, 4 seconds the gap. K-Morse, it was Randalux, sorry, that made the mistake. So Randalux has clearly made some sort of mistake. I've just caught on that now. He's down in 7th, so I'm not sure what happened with Randalux there. Possible spin, I would imagine, for him. There's Steve Boldham out in front, Bessar second, but look at K-Morse right on the back as Duke Martin and Jukebox Hero. I think that's a change of positions there, and it could be side by side down the straight here between these two. Duke Martin hanging on and will get that position around the outside. So Duke Martin holds on to 5th, coming across the line at 3 out of 24. And Steve Boldham leads, an extended 4-second gap. Bessar in 2nd, just going right, and K-Morse capitalises down the inside line, taking a much deeper and neater line there, and K-Morse is up to 2nd, very nicely indeed. GDDM now on the back of Bessar, catching on. K-Morse just running wide there. Bessar doing exactly the same, following suit with the same line. Bessar brakes early to get rid of the gravel on his tyres, and in fact goes straight on. So I'm not sure what has happened there with Bessar. He went straight on and retires from the race. So Bessar, he knows the championship has won. He retires from the race. Not sure what happened there. Possible issue, I would imagine, with Bessar there. Hopefully we'll find out from him in the comments section. If he does choose to come in. Red indicating that K-Morse and Kingquin have both got penalties. I would imagine that is a 2nd or 2 seconds at this stage, as we are on lap 3 out of 24. Duke Martin and Jukebox Hero 4th and 5th at this stage. Closest battle really out on track. Jukebox Hero into the braking zone, trying to catch Duke Martin into the braking zone, but not quite there. And in fact Duke Martin is gaining on GDDM. So real mix here of top 3. Steve Boldham and K-Morse, we come to expect that they would be near the top 3. They're in 1st and 2nd at this stage, but GDDM having a really good drive so far. Lap 4 out of 24, he's in 3rd. Duke Martin in 4th. Bessar disconnects from the session, so clearly something went wrong. Possibly if he's on a wheel, might have had a wheel issue, possibly a controller issue, or he's just simply called away. Nature calls. You never know. We're now into the braking zone of turn 5. Running wide there, GDDM. Could pick up a penalty if he doesn't slow that down. You can pick up an invalidated thing, and in fact, lockups happening there from GDDM and Duke Martin. Jukebox Hero on the back. The closest battle out on track. Hopefully everyone is enjoying the action so far that's unfolding out on track. 3rd, 4th and 5th covered by a 2nd, GDDM, Duke Martin. And GDDM, in fact, I think got a little bit sideways there, and Duke Martin's looking to capitalise on that. He's down the inside of him, and Duke Martin is through. Duke Martin capitalises on that mistake from GDDM. Back end sliding out just slightly, and he gets that move done. Is Jukebox Hero going to think of a move down the inside here? Not quite. Terrible camera angles, I've got to add. But Steve Boredom leads 4.3 seconds, keeping that gap consistent at this stage as he moves on to lap 5 of the race. Came also in 2nd, Duke Martin in 3rd, GDDM in 4th, Jukebox Hero in 5th, your top 5. Then Randalux in 6th, who is gaining quite quickly, so watch out for Randalux. Look at the timing screens as well. 23.4 for K-Morse, catching Steve Boredom on that last lap. Randalux at 24.3, so not a great lap, and he is losing time rather than gaining it, as we see side by side Jukebox Hero and GDDM. Jukebox Hero up the inside, GDDM holding on grimly on the outside. Jukebox Hero could have a go down his inside, but is 2nd of it and doesn't go for the move there. Better exit though by Jukebox Hero. Right on the back, this is for 4th and 5th at this stage, so they're going to be picking up really good points here. I think it's 18 and 15 for 4th and 5th according to the point system. But at this stage, Steve Boredom is dominating out in the track. Came all 2nd, Duke Martin in 3rd, but this is the battle we're on board with. It is the battle for 4th between GDDM and Jukebox Hero, but watch out because you can see Randalux just circling around there in the background. He is beginning to gain, I think, time on these guys, as I think we've had a mistake, or is K-Morse just purely catching Steve Boredom? Let's find out. K-Morse actually gaining time on this lap. It'll be interesting to see if Steve Boredom has actually made a mistake here on this lap. K-Morse across the line. Nope, Cuba pace. K-Morse catching slowly, but he is beginning to try and reel in Steve Boredom at this stage. Jukebox Hero not close enough for GDDM last time around for a move. He always seems to get quite close and then doesn't really commit for the move, but now he's going to commit for the move surely, because it's going to be similar to what we saw last lap around. He's going to try and honk it around the outside, but not quite. Not quite. And Jukebox Hero, I think, he's had a little bit of contact in the season so far, and he just wants to, I think, keep that in mind, that he doesn't cause any more contact. But look who's on the back of him. Randalux, right on the back. 3-way battle for 4th, beginning to develop here out on track. 3.3 seconds the gap as it stands for the lead between Steve Boredom and K-Morse, having a much better race compared to last week in Willow Springs, where he was lapped twice because of the lap 1 contact. There, oh my goodness me, sideways from Jukebox Hero. That is how you get your car up on 2 wheels. That is unbelievable. And that is going to put him at real edge now with Randalux, because Randalux is going to look for an outside move here. He is going to look for an outside move, lay on the brakes. Randalux committing this around the outside, and it's a difficult move to do, especially at this corner. Randalux will have the traction off the corner, but gives way to Jukebox Hero, who hangs on to that position. But look at Randalux right on the back of him. He's almost toying with him, I think, at this stage. Lap 7 out of 24 for these guys, and it's currently good stuff. Steve Boredom leads 3.4 seconds. Again, K-Morse taking out 0.5 of a second last time around. Doesn't really come into the timing screens at the minute, but he is gaining that time, and it is going to be crucial come the end of the race. The amount of time that K-Morse gains now is going to be crucial for him come the end of the race. Jukebox Hero, though, just getting a slight sideways. Oh, and Randalux thinking about going for a move, just forces Jukebox Hero into a mistake, but in fact, he's forced himself into a mistake, though, I think, trying to go for an opportunistic move and possibly a reckless move as well down the inside. So it's good to see that he didn't commit that move at all, because that could have ended in absolute tragedy for both of them. Steve Boredom has picked up a penalty, by the way. Obviously track extending at the 4 here at Sonoma Raceway short, but 3.6 seconds the gap, and he's keeping that very consistent at this stage. K-Morse in 2nd, Duke Martin in 3rd. We have got a comment in. Hopefully it's one of the returning viewers from part 1 of this stream. Ransdalf has put in the comments. Great name, by the way. Fantastic name in the YouTube comments there. Go K-Morse. Clear K-Morse supporter in the fan club there in the YouTube comments. But Randalux is right on the back of Jukebox Hero. JDDM is only 0.3 of a second ahead, and Steve Boredom, because of that slight penalty that he got last time around, has lost even more time now to K-Morse. And Randalux has just been a little bit impatient now. GDDM and Jukebox Hero will start fighting, and Randalux just wants to be a little bit patient here, because if these two make contact, it's going to be he's going to be gaining 2 positions right there. Catching the curbs nicely there, all 3 of them. Nobody going for the move. Jukebox Hero again always gets close but never goes for that move, which is, I think, a shame to see, but you don't want to be going into a reckless move, not at this stage in the season certainly, because you can it can impact on your career going forward in Gavra Racing, of course, and nobody wants to ruin their career going forward in Gavra. But at this stage, Steve Boredom, if you're just tuning in, leads 3.1 seconds. However, we are possibly going to see a move here. Jukebox Hero on the back of GJDM. Very mad for the set. Oh, and he spun. Surely he's not going to come into. Oh, very close to contact. Good recovery though. He has got that car sideways. He's parked in the middle of the track. He needs to get that car going quick and remove it off track, because Manic is there. Manic is there, and that is in fact Kingquin going up his inside. So Kingquin masters that move down the inside. He gains a position. GDDM drops back sensibly, I think, to the back of the field. Lost control. That could have easily been the end of him and Jukebox Hero's race. So I think good reaction timing there from Jukebox Hero, who is improving by 1/10 of a second through the first sector as well. Or in fact, that was somebody that we were on board with. I think that was Manic improving 1/10 of a second. He's improving by 600 still. Jukebox Hero very close to contact there. That could have been really dangerous, but good awareness there, I think, by Jukebox Hero. Allowed him to come on track. Car completely out of control, and GGDM, full credit to him, getting out of the way of the rest of the guys. Let them go, and hopefully he can catch the likes of Snaker and Manic ahead. So watch out for him coming at the end of the race, I think. Just quieting down a little bit now. Randalux is on the back of Jukebox Hero. Randalux has had a terrible race so far. From his perspective, I would say he is second in the championship. At this stage, he has got to be making up these positions, because every point counts for him. It's literally 1 point between the top, between second and third in the championship standings, just so you know, coming into this. But Steve Boredom is consistently setting 23 lap times. K-Morse as well setting 23 lap times. 1 lap 10 out of 24 for the leaders. Randalux and Jukebox Hero just going to lap 10 now. And Randalux has got to try and get this move done. He is in the driving seat. He is in second place. He is really hoping, I think, for contact to be made or spins to happen in front of him to really gain them those positions. Because at the minute, his nearest championship rival is Steve Boredom, and he is well ahead of him. He is going to be gaining, I think it's going to be 12, maybe 15 points out of this. So he really needs to improve. Manic has left the session, sadly. I think that was a disconnect from his end. So Manic is out. Hopefully he does get awarded points for that, though. I think there should be attendance points, I think, in this. But Steve Boredom leading, K-Morse in second. Everything again has just split out a little bit. I'll come on back on both the comment section. I'm Javier Rand, says Ranza. How could I not figure out that? Oh my god. Javier Rands. Fantastic to see, one of the old Gavra Academy, and I do believe he's leading the GT4 Championship as well. Good to see him in the YouTube comments here tonight, and hopefully he is going to be carrying on his Gavra Racing career very soon. Hopefully he's going to be competing in one of the mini summer championships. That's what I'm hoping to see. But at this stage we have seen a drop of position, have we? Oh yeah, Snaker off track. Snaker is off track. I'm not sure if that was done by himself or if that was contact with another driver. Looking at it, I think he's lost it by himself on the exit of that right-hander just before the little straight, before the hairpin. That's what I think has happened there. Might be a good assessment of that. It could be a totally inaccurate assessment. Battle for the lead, 2.2 seconds. Steve Bourdon, K-Morse. K-Morse is getting closer. We know how he's been like in Gavra Academy, certainly from my perspective. Such a good driver in there. He's been racing in the GT3s or the GT4s this season as well. So, stepped down to Clio Cup, suiting him to a T, and he's having a much better race compared to Willow Springs last time around. And look at the gap, 2 seconds now. I wouldn't be surprised if K-Morse actually gets closer to him within the next 5 laps. Guarantee you, next 5 laps, maybe round lap 20 at a maximum. But K-Morse is catching, and catching consistently. Another 6/10 of a second taken out there. K-Morse is flying. Randall sadly not flying at this stage. He has lost time to Jukebox Hero ahead of him. It's 1.7 seconds that gap at this stage. King Quinn, GDDM and Snake are having their own private race, it seems. So it's really on between Steve and K-Morse at this stage, and we'll cut now to the battle for the lead because we can see them in the same shot at this stage. 1.9 seconds, 1.8 seconds. Look at K-Morse, he is warning them. He's like Jaws, he is approaching from behind. K-Morse is closing in, and I'll tell you what, Steve Bourdon has got to be aware of this. K-Morse is coming, and K-Morse is gaining. And I've got to say, Jukebox Hero in 4th is actually gaining time and beginning to close in on Duke Martin, so that could develop up into a 3-way battle for 3rd possibly if Randalux gets onto the back of Jukebox Hero as well. But at this stage, 1.8 seconds, K-Morse doesn't want to be sliding out like that, he loses in time. Steve's taking a much deeper entry. You want to be taking a deeper entry through that corner compared to wide out and then deep out entry, because it can lose you time, and that's exactly what we've seen with K-Morse there. But Steve Bourdon at this stage hanging on. We are more than halfway through lap 13 of 24. Steve Bourdon leads with 23.0 for K-Morse. Very consistent lap times on both of them last time around. Up into turn 2 goes K-Morse, and he should begin to gain once again through this first sector. He really likes this first sector out on track. Compared to Steve Bourdon, can be a little bit weird, but of course you've got to realise both of them do have penalties at some point. Duke Martin in 3rd, there is Jukebox Hero just in behind, and there is Randalux going off track as well. Randalux just taking a little bit much speed going through the corners, and there we go. Tell you what, the gap is coming down. He loves that middle sector, does K-Morse, and he is closing them down. 1.8 seconds. Gap has extended out slightly from last time around. But Steve going nicely out on front from K-Morse in 2nd. Nothing really happening in behind either, so we'll focus on this battle for now. I'm just going to go quiet for a minute just while I reply to something. There we go, 1.4 seconds, K-Morse gaining, no changes of position while we come back onto the mic there, and again another 4/10 of a second taken out by K-Morse. He is gaining, he is hunting for blood here tonight at Sonoma, the American Triple Crown of races. About to be completed, of course. We had Laguna Seca, we had Willow Springs, and now we are on to Sonoma Raceway for the final round of the championship, and it has been my pleasure, of course, to commentate on this for the 10 weeks that we have had. Of course, there have been a bit of connection issues, but we can forgive him. We can forgive Gavra and the rest for that. It is really down to the game at the end of the day that causes all these issues. No issues currently, apart from my connection, but Steve Bourdon, 1.6 seconds leading from in 2nd K-Morse. This is going to get so close towards the end of this race. I guarantee you now, this could get really close towards the end of this race. A second separating Duke Martin and Jukebox Hero at this stage. They're setting consistent lap times around the 23s and 24s. And again, I think that's a personal best lap there once again from K-Morse. 1.4 seconds, and I'm telling you now, We'll go on board with it. Let's go on board with him and see the input that he's putting in and see the elevation change here at Sonoma Raceway, because it is quite a hilly track. Steve leading. K-Mo's just feathering off the throttle slightly, attacking it nicely down the hill, and just loses a little bit of time looking up ahead. Oh, catches the apex there. Just caught the apex. Down, braking at the 75 metre board there. The imaginary 75 metre board, but K-Mo's is catching. We are on board with him currently. You are experiencing a lap on board with K-Mo's at this stage. Jukebox Hero, by the way, has just lost about 6 or 7 tenths there compared to Duke Martin. So that could have been some sort of mistake from him, or just slowing us out the corner. But it's like Jaws. Somebody get the Jaws music up. Theme music is needed here. Dun 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 dun. K-Mo's is closing in. Oh, and in fact Steve Bodum sends bollards flying there. If you saw that on the left hand side of your screen, he saw that flying. We're coming back on board with trackside cam for the moment. Steve Bodum maintaining that gap at 1.6 seconds this time around. How's the lap times looking though? 25.1 for K-Mo's. In fact, it was K-Mo's that hit the bollards and has lost 2.1 seconds on that last lap. 2.1 seconds, but he's keeping that gap consistently at 1.4 seconds. Beginning to close that gap in once again is K-Mo's at this stage. And Steve Bodum, 1.2 seconds. This is building up for a crescendo finish here in the Clio Cup, and I'm getting excited with 9 laps to go. Imagine what it's going to be like if this all kicks off, which I think it is going to, because that was just under a second for a brief moment. K-Mo's was just under a second behind Steve Bodum. This is really building to some sort of really good battle here. Steve Bodum and K-Mo's, of course, factor in, they've both got penalties, remember. Both got penalties. I'm imagining it's either a second or 2 seconds at this stage, and they're both going to be around the same. If K-Mo's has got less penalties than Steve, that is going to be an idealist way, I think, there for K-Mo's to get the win, because he is going to be winning this race on merit, I think. 8/10 the gap. This is as close as it's all been as we approach lap 17 out of 24. Get your popcorn out, get your cup of tea at the ready. You could better go and throw it up in the air. 22.5 from K-Mo's. That should be the new fastest lap of the race for sure. 6/10 the gap. K-Mo's is flying out on track. He is gaining every lap more and more confidence. Lights just flashing there as well. And K-Mo's is sensing a real opportunistic move. That could be Steve Bodum sliding slightly, and that could be costly. That could be very costly. K-Mo's choosing to go wide out and deep into the corner, and he's right on the back of him. 0.2 of a second separating. K-Mo's just warning him he's there, trying to go for the move. He goes wide and deep into the corner again, gains the time coming through the S section. Steve Bodum, I think, is hanging on for grim life at this stage. In behind, Duke Martin and Jukebox Hero. That's only 0.5 away as well. We'll come on to that as soon as this battle sorts itself out. But Steve Bodum, 0.5 of the gap. K-Mo's is charging. He is literally like a rampaging bull there out on track in that Renault Clio, and he is closing that gap down. 0.5 the gap at the minute. There has been as short as 0.4 the gap. Now into 0.3 into the braking zone. K-Mo's very late on the brakes, and now this is it. This is it. 7 more laps to go. I'll tell you what, if we get 7 more laps of 0.4 action, he's now within slipstream and he is closing in. So K-Mo's taking a wide out line. He'll take a wide out line up the hill into turn 2 as well. But Steve Bodum, he must be sensing the nerves are surely going to be getting him. Sweaty palms. K-Mo's is going to go around the outside surely here. Doesn't try it. Steve Bodum has had a tendency to make mistakes there. Not on that occasion though. Taking the defensive line. K-Mo's is on the back of him. He's going to go side by side with him. He's going to launch it up the inside. K-Mo's is side by side. Down the inside he goes. At the hairpin at turn 6. K-Mo's, Steve Bodum hangs around the outside. Great move. Great defensive attacking move there by Steve Bodum. You can call that what you want, because Steve Bodum has just got back around the outside of K-Mo's. K-Mo's briefly for about 2 or 3 seconds in the lead, but Steve Bodum fights back around the outside. This is really building. into one of the races of the season here. Steve Boldham, they're leaving it all on the track here tonight in Clio Cup. And to think we've still got 6 more laps after this one. Lap 19 about to start. Steve Boldham leading the way. Bit of a lock-up there from Steve, I think. K-Morse is 5/10 away. Watch out for the lap times as well this time around, because it's going to be quite interesting. K-Morse surely must have the faster lap. And in fact, it's a 24-1 from both of them at the end there. 24-1, but the flashing lights is back on, and K-Morse really sensing something here. This is a drive to end all drives. To think he came from the back of the field, started 10th on the grid. Steve Boldham, I think, started 3rd on the grid. I'm pretty certain on that. So both of these guys have not had the real opportunistic moves to happen out on track, but they're both leaving it on the track here tonight at this stage. Let's just calm ourselves down a bit. Came off, getting up in the go for that wide out line at the hairpin at turn 6. Gets closer again. The S section will advantage him as well with the slipstream, and he is closing that gap down. Watch out for it. He's got to follow that slipstream so closely. Just feathers off the throttle slightly. Steve Boldham almost flat out through there, I think. Steve hanging on. K-Morse in second. Let's go then on board with K-Morse, as he's right on the back of him. If I can sort the cameras out, we could see an opportunistic move here from K-Morse down into the hairpin. Not quite. Not quite close enough, but there's the inside gap coming up. It's opened like the parting of the Red Sea. Steve Boldham and K-Morse pretty much going side by side. Back to track side can we go, and it's K-Morse hanging on for grim life here. He really is hanging on for grim life. 23-1 from K-Morse last time around. This is developing into something extraordinary here tonight. 5 laps to go, and K-Morse just the first sense there that he made a mistake. He just made a mistake. It gives Steve that little bit of breathing room. Still 6/10 the gap between Duke Martin and Jukebox Hero. Snaker, by the way, has been lapped. GDDM has also been lapped in all of this as well. But at this stage, 2/10 of the gap under K-Morse. He's right on the back of him. The two Brits are going at it here. Steve Boldham and K-Morse. This is looking so close. Sorry, I do apologise. Steve Boldham is Swiss. He is Swiss. K-Morse is British. Just thought I'd get that out there before I get commented saying you've given the wrong nationality. But still, regardless of nationality, they are leaving it all out on the track. We're going to have 4 more laps after this one. Steve leads the way, but for how long? Because K-Morse has attacked and attacked and attacked, and I think he's closer now than he was at any stage in this race. Really looking good here for K-Morse. Now running up the hill towards turn 1, lap 21 out of 24. K-Morse opting to try and go for a sneaky inside line. It's going to help Steve Boldham on the inside of the corner through turn 1, now into turn 2. And he holds him off for now. Gap, by the way, just in behind, extended out to 1.1 seconds, and there's a very close battle now developing between the two teammates. We'll come on board with that as Steve Boldham gets sideways out of turn 4, now running through turn 5. So I think this is turn, let me just count, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, so this is turn 6 that they're coming through now. Steve Boldham hanging on, just attacks it, just brings a little bit of a buffer with him there, 4/10 of a second. K-Morse on the back, in second at this stage. In third is Duke Martin. Jukebox Hero in 4th. That's now only 3/10 to win. In fact, there's been a change of positions. Jukebox Hero is past, and he's up to 4th, past Duke Martin. Randalux and Kingquin are also battling as well, but we'll focus continuously on this battle for the lead. K-Morse is again looking really close here. We'll go back on board with him. Tries to go for a lunge up the inside. That inside move now will come. Steve Boldham getting very close to the tyre wall there on exit of the corner. This is it. 3 more laps to go. Sweaty palms for both of these drivers at this stage. For Steve Boldham and K-Morse putting on an absolute masterclass of driving here, but never really attempting to go for the moves. Neither putting themselves in any sort of danger, and that's what we like to see. Clean and competitive racing out on track at this stage, and it's still only 3/10 away. People might be thinking in the comment section, Kamos hasn't got the move done. He hasn't got the move done. He doesn't want to attempt that move. He wants to pressurise Steve Boredom into a mistake here. That is crucial. That is crucial. And I think, is he going to lunge it down the inside? He is! Oh, and I thought he was going to go for the move, but Steve covers it off just about. But this builds up through the S section again, approaching the final 2 laps of this race. This has been thrilling. We've been seeing it coming from the last 10 laps or so. Kamos, remember, was 4 seconds off Steve Boredom at any one stage in this race. He is now just 3-4 tenths off, coming through turn 13, turn 14, and then through turn 15 onto the straight. Kamos again very late on the brakes, opting to go deeper this time into the corner, gives him that run out, but he's just a little way off compared to last time around. Both set very consistent laps last time around. We'll see how they go. Penultimate lap of the race here in Clio Cups. Steve slightly quicker than Kamos by about 1.5 tenths on that last lap, but Steve Boredom at this stage hanging on for grim life out in front. Kamos just runs wide. That's the first resemblance of mistake. He takes a board with him as well. That's going to cost him speed. That's going to cost him time as well. Steve Boredom getting sideways. It's just getting too much. I think Kamos is just trying a little bit too hard now. The pressure is getting to Kamos at this stage, but Steve Boredom, if I was him, I'd be thinking, oh, I've got to keep it cool for the final 2 laps. Both of these guys have got to keep it cool for the final 2 laps. I will come on board with the other battles unfolding out on track as well, just as soon as this stops, because this is just utterly thrilling out on track. Steve Boredom and Kamos, even though they haven't really gone for the moves or anything like that, it is just so close. It can go either way at this stage. The second now is the gap between Steve Boredom and Kamos, but at this stage, looks like Steve is getting the upper hand. Come on, Jukebox, says Cadwell, by the way, in the comment section. Thank you very much for that. He's in third at the minute, and he's hanging on from Duke Martin. Of course, there was a switch around in the positions. Steve Boredom is now 9 tenths clear, and I think that might be enough to carry him on to the final lap of the race if he doesn't make any sort of mistake here. Steve Boredom then onto the final lap at 24 out of 24. The season finale here in Clio Cup coming to the crescendo, and a first and second battle coming into play, as that I think might be GGDM ahead of them. It is. GGDM could yet have a deciding factor in this. If he spins and takes one of them out, then it's going to be game over for either of them. Hopefully we don't see that though. Steve just looking up slightly there. Kamos given an opportunity. He's not close enough this time around unless he really launches it and Danny ricks it down the inside. Not quite. Steve again taking the thingy. GDDM does not want anything to do with this at all, and that's good sportsmanship there shown by GDDM. He might be lapped, but that is good sportsmanship there. But still, Steve Boredom and Kamos, this is just building and building and building to the final race of the season. Kamos is looking really, really dodgy now and behind. He is looking so close. Do not over-race this corner. This is the final real test of the driver's nerve. Steve Boredom, Kamos is going to try and lunge it around the outside, I think. He is going to lunge it around the outside. Is he going to commit it around the outside? Steve Boredom hangs on down the inside line though, and that is it. Steve Boredom round the final corner, hanging on. Kamos' efforts not good enough here. Steve Boredom takes it. Have a look at the penalties. Kamos across the line in second. Both of them, I think, having the same amount of penalties there. Great race and a great way to end Clio Cup for the 2019 season. Steve Boredom wins here from Kamos in second, 0.3 of a second separating. Duke Martin is waiting up for Jukebox Hero. Oh, and there's been contact. They must have over-raced it into the hairpin, and that is good sportsmanship there from the Australian. Duke Martin is going to let Jukebox Hero through for third place. Go on, go through for third. Get your third place, you deserve it. Duke Martin across the line in third. Jukebox Hero across the line in fourth. Kingquin's across the line in fifth. Randaluk's teammates going to the line here. Kingquin will get the spoils over Randaluk's, but that will change because of the penalties. That is the race over. What a thrilling race that was. Steve Boredom then out on top, 2.3 seconds ahead of Kamos. Kamos having 4 seconds worth of penalties there. 2 seconds worth for Steve Boredom. Duke Martin in third, Jukebox Hero in 4th, Randalux in 5th. Disappointing from his perspective. He doesn't get 2nd in the championship. Steve Boredom gets 2nd in the championship at the end of the day. King Quinn finishes in 6th, getting a 2nd penalty there. GD Damon 7th, 2 seconds penalty. And Snaker on his debut, the Ukrainian driver, is 8th. 2 laps down in the end, but a good try from him, 8th place. We did lose Matteo. We did lose Manic as well in that race. And we did lose somebody else, and that guy has befallen me at this stage. But that's the season over and done with. I know the dismay that's going to be coming across people's faces now. That is the season over for Clio Cup, and I have got to say, what a season it has been. Great action, pretty much every single race. We've had at least one battle every single race, which is fantastic. Credit, I think, goes to Gavra for putting all of this on. He deserves so much credit. I'm just a cog in the wheel with the commentary. He deserves all the credit here. So if you are interested, as I say, in them mini summer leagues, the Supercars V8 on the Thursday and the GT3s on the Friday, if you are interested, get your name signed up on that sheet ASAP, because I think that race, even though it was Clio Cups, proves that clean and competitive racing is at the fore in any league, as well as Gavra Racing. And I've been absolutely thrilled to commentate the action for 10 weeks. You never know, you might see me for another season for Gavra Academy. To those of you who will be joining the Academy, then I wish you well. If my schedule allows it, I will be back in Gavra for another season, regardless of what championship. I am going to be back for another season of Gavra, and I think I'm going to commit to that after this race, because that race made me change my mind there, because I was thinking of leaving. But no, you're going to see me around for a little bit longer at least. But final comments coming through then in the comment section on part 2 of the stream. Gavra retired in that race, and GT3 tomorrow's, yeah, so GT3's tomorrow. Follow the action out on track. Cadwell commentating on that as well. Inverted Poison might be alongside him in the commentary box, or somebody else will be for sure. So tune into that. It's going to be same time, 8:30 UK time for the GT3s, or 8 PM UK time possibly. But the GT3 is hosted tomorrow. But for me, signing off for Clio Cup, final race of the season. What a thrilling race to end on that. Yeah, thank you very much for watching, and for the final time, I can't say see you next week for the final round. That was the final round, but I hope to see you soon. For me, James Head 14, I hope to see you around on Gavra Racing. Thank you very much for watching the Clio Cup tonight, and until next time, goodbye.